everyone, my name is Sotiris Kosouris. I work for Suite 5 Data Intelligence Solution, which is the technical coordinator of the DataVaults project. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our DataVaults project and what it means for personal data sharing. First, let me ask you a question about the security and the privacy of your personal data. So why should we care about those? So the answer is obvious, which could be replaced also by another question. So would you leave your wallet or display unattended in a public bar? So probably not. And if you think well, personal data is more than this, because it may contain both financial information, but also contains other kind of information like private life. So data security and privacy are of utmost importance, especially when it comes to personal data. And hopefully, as we see in the EU, there are many regulations that point this out. So what about trust in data sharing? Similarly to security and privacy, trust guarantees need to be there. And as you know, trust is built piece by piece, but it takes just a second to destroy it. And when glass is broken, it cannot be glued back together. So when you share data, you should be able to trust the platform that you're sharing the data to do what it intends to do, and it describes what it's going to do with the data. And the people that get the data from such a platform, so the so-called data seekers, need to trust the platform that the data it provides them is of value. They are correct, and they can provide the intelligence they need. So what is DataVaults? DataVaults is a project co-funded by the European Commission. It started in the beginning of 2020 and will run for 3 years. Has 17 partners from 9 different countries, and actually the idea is to deliver a platform that allows individuals to take ownership and control of their data and allow them to share them at will through flexible sharing and fair compensation mechanisms, meaning that they can also get part of the value that their data is generated back. They can essentially be paid in a way or another for the data they're providing. So our target users in such a platform are individuals, which are called data providers, and also other economic operators, so like businesses, which are called data seekers. So let's see how this works from the side of an individual end user. So since we're talking about a personal data sharing platform, we're talking about a system that should reside at your end, which we call the personal data vault. And this is an application which can live in your computer or in your smartphone or in your personal data cloud, and is the point where data is gonna be collected, stored, and where you are gonna execute some orders for sharing it. So the data is, as we said, stored at your side. It's collected from various sources, which could be sensors you own and are part of your house, wearables, personal data, information you share over the internet, for example in social media, and anything you would like to share and to save with DataVaults. So once information is collected and is securely stored, then you have the option to share them. And you can do that in many ways. We offer something called a sharing configurator, which allows you to identify what to share, when to share it, how to share it, anonymously, encrypted or unencrypted, and so on, and also with whom to share it, providing some access policies, and also defining the licenses, so the conditions under which you're sharing these data assets. Before you actually share the data, you also need to be aware of your risk exposure. So there is something called a privacy metrics dashboard, which allows you to identify whether the data you are going to share is going to compromise your privacy, not only based on the content of this data, but also based on correlation with information you have previously shared using DataVaults. Finally, there is also an attestation mechanism which allows you to trust the platform you are providing the data and knowing that you are providing the data to the right platform and not to an entity that impersonates this platform. So once this is done, data is moved from your side to our cloud DataVaults platform. And there is where a data seeker, so an economic operator, can go search for this data and get it. So for this to happen, we offered the so-called cloud-based DataVaults infrastructure, which is accessed by anyone, and data can be searched even if this is encrypted there, provided that the user allows a data seeker to search over this data. Access is made simple for newcomers, and all the security and privacy measures that have been selected by the individuals are imposed through an access policy engine and some encryption engines. And finally, the data that a data seeker is acquiring through the platform and the analysis he's running all happen in secure spaces, meaning that data cannot leak outside. So we have covered in such a way the two steps of sharing the data and of getting the data. But every such transaction should mean a value flow and gains for the ones that provide the data. So we believe it's high time for data owners to get compensated for providing such assets and not reside and not rely on just a free service provision as it is done in most of the online platforms where you share data. But it's also fundamental to keep privacy in place. So our approach is a double permissive ledger, so a double blockchain, if you want to call it like that, where there is on the one side data seekers that conduct transactions with the DataVaults platform once they acquire the data, and then the DataVaults platform is the one that transfers the money back or the compensation back to the data owner. So there is a so-called wall between the data seeker and the data owner, and there is no way to identify who a data owner is. The way to move on as we see it fit in DataVaults is to let individuals decide what, how much, and in which manner they want to share, provide the necessary guarantees for privacy and security for the personal data in order for individuals to trust the platform and be sure that the data they provide are not leaked and is respected by the platform. And finally, bring in the picture a mechanism that is able to generate value also for the data owner and of course allow the data seeker extract intelligence out of the data that they acquire. So thank you very much, and if you would like to know more about DataVaults, you're invited to visit our website at www.datavaults.eu.